write it. Joe will write it.
Welcome to the Cowboys Uncovered and the Eagles Uncovered crossover episode. Let's get into it. Yeah, whose beats better? That kind of reminds me of Halloween.
Scary stuff.
I'm ready for the Eagles to murder the Cowboys.
Yeah, all right, guys. So we're back. Cowboys Uncovered, Eagles Uncovered. Hey, this is an awesome episode. We got Tyson, Gentry, Brad, Wakai. I'm Alex. I've got Joe to my right, Dave to my left. This is going to be an awesome episode. It's the Week 10 showdown between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. And look, these teams might be going in two different directions, but I'm excited to get into it with you fellas. So how you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for having us on. And you asked whose beat was better, but both those intro videos were just full of a bunch of guys maybe not playing this weekend. So we might have had to, edit those.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal, but hey, we got to play either way, right? Any given Sunday, we'll see what happens. I'm not losing hope yet, and we'll go ahead and start off with just a quick recap of the last matchup. Look, Cowboys lost to the Falcons. Hey, it happened. We do bold predictions, score predictions on this show. I actually had the Cowboys score right, 21, but who cares because we lost. So at the end of the show, we'll do some more score predictions. We'll get into that. But for you guys, y'all played against the Jags, and pretty close one, 5-point game. How'd y'all feel about that one?
Well, you can see that spike in the end there, and that's when Tyson and I started to have a heart attack because we were texting, oh, my God, this is 2 weeks in a row, 3 weeks in a row. This is easy. And next thing you know, we got, I would say, a questionable call, to put it nicely, on the Saquon Barkley fumble 6, which I think is ridiculous, no call, or that they let that stand as a touchdown. But it got a little sweaty, and Tyson and I have been used to the roller coaster that the Nick Sirianni Eagles have provided us the past 2 years. But, we're sitting here 6-2, and it's hard to complain about that in this league.
And we're kind of kindred spirits. Like, I know we're not supposed to be friends with you guys, but you guys know it's the same thing with the Eagles. The Cowboys are incapable of playing a normal football game, it feels like, and I think the Eagles are the same way.
Well, hey,
I like a good revenge game. The Peterson, though, I love a good storyline. Revenge games are my thing. Glad you guys at least got to have a big one of those.
Yeah, that was nice.
Hey, you know it was nice. No, not nice. Nasty.
Has time. Now locates Barkley out of the backfield. Barkley slips 2 tackles and picks up the first down, jumping up in the air to the 30.
Out of moves right here. Makes the first guy miss. The spin move at the last second. Bro. And then, what, Tiki, you're right. What is that?
Bro. How did he do that? What was y'all's reaction when you saw that?
I just started running around my house. I mean, my girlfriend thought somebody was in trouble. Something's on fire. She didn't know what was going on. I'm yelling Saquon. It looked choreographed almost. Like he turns, gives him a look, and then jumps. It was like, oh, this thing's scripted. But no, that was the craziest thing I think I've seen, like, outside NFL Street.
Some wire through crouching tiger hidden Barkley.
Apparently, I saw a highlight where he tried that against the Texans maybe last year, and he totally just got tackled instead. But
well, let me jump in right on this.
He had that one, that 360, right?
Yeah, it ended up being a 360. That's right.
Yeah, it's okay.
I just wanted to quickly get a question in on Barkley because, we're both in the NFC East. We see Barkley on the Giants. What did y'all think about bringing him into the fold? Was it something that you were, incredibly, desiring and going after, but you have that Giants effect on him? So what was that like, getting a guy like that?
Well, I knew he was going to be a stud for the Eagles because he wasn't going to get hit behind the line of scrimmage every single time he touched the ball because the Giants refused to upgrade their offensive line. So I thought it was going to be a home run. And, Tyson and I have talked about this. This has been a running back, a type of architect that we haven't had on this team since LaShawn McCoy, maybe even going back to Brian Westbrook. There have been some good running backs in the Eagles, but nobody this special. So I thought it was going to work, and I think it has so far.
But you're always kind of holding your breath, right? With like the interdivision kind of changing teams, like the same time any Eagles Cowboys guys or the Commanders throw somebody out there, it's like, oh, this guy he's going to stink for us. But pleasantly surprised to say the least.
Well, it doesn't happen very often where you get a superstar change
Right.
teams within a division.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, the Cowmanders team where it's like the quarter of the staff of the team are ex-Cowboys, right? So if they win the East, when they win the East, it'll be because the Cowboys let all that shit go. But anyway, I digress.
What about the Commanders getting, or the Redskins at the time getting McNabb? That was a pretty big get.
That was big. Yes.
That was shocking, I would say, too. I mean, he kind of sucked at the time, though. So it was like, you're kind of like, all right, you're in your twilight years. But yeah, it didn't look right. That's for sure.
Being a little facetious there. It was well past his prime.
Well, should we talk a little bit about what happened to the Cowboys?
Yeah, so let's jump into it. And look, obviously, guys, it's pretty rough right now for the Cowboys. We need some help. All right.
Ooh.
Send some help. We need some help, guys. And let's see, how did Dak feel about the team?
To align for this Dallas Cowboys offense.
The frustration continues to mount.
Yeah,
Oh,
rough times
man.
over here, man. We're struggling. Let's talk about all the effed up things that we did here. So Dave sent this list in.
Yeah. So I'm the resident. I've been calling for McCarthy's job for a while here. I just don't think it vibes with the team anymore. I like the guy as a person, I guess. I don't know. I never met him. But the alignment errors and the personnel errors and the obviously penalties and just the personnel decisions, the timeouts, it's all like that. All of that was coaching. There's a lot of mistakes by the players, some really questionable effort by some of the players. But in general, this team has been playing till the end of the game, even in these big blowout games. They got a lot of pride. There's a lot of good players on the team. But the way the game plans are put together, it's time for a change, and I've been calling for this. You see the list here. Obviously, missed tackles. Dalvin Cook doesn't know what he's doing. He causes us to get a 12-man on the field at one time. He also made us call a timeout on a 4th down. So just implementing Dalvin Cook has not gone well. They should have done it a week before when they had the bye week, to kind of elevate him. They waited till after the bye week to elevate him and had him play on 5 days of kind of being in the, playing with the ones. So there's just a lot of bad decisions being made during the week, and then they go to the game, and sometimes you get some hero ball out of some guys, but in general, they're just having a really hard time game planning. I think it all falls on McCarthy.
There's not much else to say.
Aren't you glad you don't have McCarthy? I guess is the sum of that.
Yeah, we'll trade you Sirianni for McCarthy tonight.
Oh yeah,
How
here
about
we
that,
go.
Tyson?
Queuing this up here. This is the second drive the Falcons had. This is a big 3rd down that Bijan ended up converting, and you obviously see here we only had 10 guys on the field. This is in the first 10 minutes of play. You have a big mistake like this. Obviously, they converted this 3rd down and then scored a touchdown. So that's very disappointing, obviously.
Yeah, pretty brutal. We did have one lone bright spot.
You're muted.
Yeah, we did have one lone bright spot. I'll go ahead and show you.
Prescott looking to throw. Pumps off the back foot. Stays on his feet. Now on the move. Floats it to the end zone. Caught! Rico Dowdle.
Time.
Shot of the week.
So
Shot
shot
of
of
the
the week goes to Rico Dowdle.
May he have a good game this week.
Cowboys only.
103 yards
Cheers,
and a
cheers,
touchdown catch. So there you go. That's
Yeah.
total yards, not rushing.
So Dowdle was running back 5 on the week. Looks like Zeke Elliott got benched due to being mad or something like that, complaining about playing time.
There's
Because
something coming out of that.
you got to imagine with Zeke, he's only got one more season left. So for him, this is his money on the line, and he's getting no stats. So he's kind of pissed about it. And they ended up benching him, and that was good for Dowdle. And he showed out. So I don't know if we've got something long-term with him there, but really, we just got so many injuries right now. We lost Dak Prescott. lost CeeDee Lamb. So
Dak is going to be out for, they say, multiple weeks, which probably means till the end of the season. We're tanking at this point, right? So anyway, CeeDee
Before we
Lamb
get
is
to the
doing
tanking,
day-to-day.
there's more to talk. Let me do one more thing before we get to the tanking, which hopefully we do. Not tanking. Is Zeke? There's something big coming out from Zeke on Twitter. There's been buzz. Apparently, Jane Slater is going to break a story on what happened with Zeke, and it's going to make everybody be like, "Oh shit, this guy's effing up." So, we're awaiting that story to drop. Probably at the most opportune moment to get the most clicks out of Jane Slater's Twitter, but that has been teased all week. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, where were you going with that, Joe? Sorry.
Lost my train of thought.
All right. Let's get these Eagles boys in the mix a little bit. Let's pass the ball a little bit.
Oh, we're talking about injuries. Dak out for multiple weeks. CeeDee Lamb, maybe a game, but he's going to try to fight through it. Good MRI came back on that one. And then we're supposed to get Micah Parsons back. So your boy Brad. And then also maybe DeJuan Bland. So
well, that should be interesting, the Parsons thing, because, with the offensive line for the Eagles was a little bit shaky against the Jags. It's something that they haven't quite shown. So I think if Parsons is back and he's getting downhill, I think that could be an equalizer in this one.
And Josh Hines-Allen is getting into the body of Fred Johnson, like in a little bit different way maybe than how Mike is going to rush, but that doesn't lend a ton of confidence, when you go from maybe a tier 2 guy to somebody Brad and I both believe, and I'm sure you guys as well, as one of the tier 1 players in the entire NFL. We do a show, we cover the whole NFL on a different show, and before the season, it was just tough kind of to get a real vibe out of this Cowboys, this team. And you guys are the experts here, so I'll defer a little bit. But it does feel like even now we're sitting here after 9 weeks, and it's been hard to really pinpoint where, like, half the defense is out. We know Micah's missed time, Bland's missed time. The offensive line is, as you guys know, had 1 million first-round picks, it feels like, invested into it, and that still can be a problem occasionally. And then, with the running back thing, it was like, well, maybe Donald will work out, but what exactly is going on here? So, we're 9 weeks into this thing, and you guys are talking about selling, but it almost feels to me like it's been hard to pinpoint what exactly outside of Mike McCarthy has been like a true issue here out, besides some of these guys getting banged up.
How much time do you have, Tyson? It's a 1-hour show. I mean,
I start work tomorrow about 8, so you're good till then.
We can start at the top with Jerry, but we're not going to really go into it too much because our shows the last 3 weeks have been all about Jerry Jones and how he sat on his hands and didn't do anything in free agency. It's a lame duck year for Mike McCarthy. Dak Prescott, we signed him to a big contract. Not sure why. Anyway, just the tip of the iceberg there.
Yeah, we got Scary Jerry messing with things, gerrymandering, as some people call it. It's been there's a lot of expectations because we have some superstar players, but at the same time, I think there's something behind all this not going after people and saying he was all in. I mean, the writing's on the wall with the way the contracts all line up for the coaches, for the players. There's a transition coming next year, and it's just unfortunate we all had to sit through this. Their margin of error is like this. Like, they've got to have everybody play perfect play calling, perfect game planning, because they just don't have the depth right now. So it's tough. But hey, they're only 3 games back or something.
Only
like that.
3 games back. Yes, and we'll get into just the overall matchup. But that was something I was curious on with your guys' thoughts. I mean, before the season, it was like one of these 2 teams is going to miss the playoffs, and it was hard for us to figure out which one of those 2 is going to be.
So we did our preseason episode, and I already said no team repeats. Y'all know this as well as we do. No team repeats as the division winner. So we didn't even pick ourselves as the division winner. We knew it wasn't going to happen. I didn't expect Washington to come in here and cook us like this, man.
Yeah, so you guys know this is the 131st meeting between the Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Cowboys owning the advantage, 71-55. No repeat winners of the East since 2004. Do you guys know who the last one was?
Oh, forward.
It was the Eagles, right?
That's right. It's the Eagles.
Yeah.
All right.
Early 2000s, something like that.
That was when Andy was losing all those NFC Championship games, and then the
2004
he figured out how to win.
Yeah.
And you figure you win some, you lose some on that front.
I always hated up going against Andy Reid. I always knew he was just a kind of an innovative coach. Understood his guys. His guys always ran through a wall for him. So I guess I wonder, what's the Sirianni of it all like? And from an outsider looking at Sirianni, it's not the kind of guy I want to head coach, but he does seem like a good football guy. So what do you guys think about him?
Well, I'll take it real quick, Brad.
Yeah, go for it.
Because Brad's going to get into a little bit of soliloquy here. This is his boy. So I'll jump out in front of the train a little bit. With Nick, it's really hard. You mentioned like the Cowboys' margin of error being this big. In Philly, it's like this. I mean, we just saw against Jacksonville, right? He missed 3 2-point conversions, maybe a weird call on 4th and inches when you have the tush push. It didn't work earlier in the game, but you still go to a play action fake almost into a deep shot, and it's the same play they ran against Atlanta. So that's already on tape. That's an interesting move there. But the other part is he just wins games, and it's hard to tell sometimes whether that is the abundance of talent on the roster. But at the end of the day, I mean, as Cowboys guys, like he has a better winning percentage than like Barry Schweitzer did. And I know that was like at the time, get him out of here. We don't want this guy, but they win a ton, right? It's like 70% of the games that he's been the head coach for, they've won. So you do get the yelling at the fans, and that's I hate it, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's about putting W's in the win column, and he's done that at a pretty high rate. So there's a lot of Eagles fans that are calling for his head that don't seem to quite remember what it was like the last year at Chip.
Oof.
Yeah,
we love Chip.
And I'll make kind of my point quick because Tyson heard this, and I think you guys can kind of understand where I'm coming from because he said it too. I mean, if you win games in the NFL, it's really hard. Like we see how many bad franchises every single year, no matter who's the head coach, can't win football games. And yeah, it's a front office thing too. And Howie's done a good job of putting this roster together. But how many times have we seen throughout the years rosters underachieve and rosters underperform? And the past 3 years hasn't really been the case except for the collapse late last year, like a Super Bowl run. If with 3 more wins, they're going to have another winning season in Philadelphia. Like it's hard for me to be like, oh no, that guy's not a good head coach. Like we see things where he's deficient in, but what do we see every single week around the league? They're like coaching's really hard. And so if you win, it's hard for me to put my hands up and say you can't.
That makes sense. And when you look at like Mike McCarthy being able to put together a lot of wins the past 3 or 4 years, probably has a pretty high winning percentage, comparable as well. But you can tell he's just not on the cutting edge of where NFL is going. He's always reacting. And I feel like you have to come in with an innovative offense and an adaptable defense. And we had adaptable defense last year. It did end up collapsing, I guess. So it's really hard to tell. You feel like you have all these all pros and pro bowlers. You feel like your coaches have become something. You look at what Dan Quinn is doing. I mean, Kellen Moore is okay. Maybe that's a good transition. Talk about Kellen Moore a little bit. What do you guys think about this guy?
He's in a different league than Brian Johnson. So that's good from a year ago. That feels good. But yeah, I mean, last year they were like the lowest in the league by a wide margin in pre-snap motion, and some of these other things where you're looking around the field and you're going, you have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Like, why can't everything is stationary all the time? It's a 4th and 3 deep shot, which they're still running. I think that's part of the discussion.
Yes, we know that all too well.
Yes, it's a lot of it right now is it Nick's offense? Is it Kellen's offense? Is it Jalen's offense? And I think Kellen Moore's done a good job of incorporating the things Jalen does well into it. And you can see it from before the bye to after the bye. Hurts looks like almost he's running a completely different system, it feels like.
Oh, yeah.
The Eagles' largest margin of victory this season, 25 against the Giants. We know the Giants not that great. You guys also lost to the Falcons, just like we did. So a couple of common, obviously, opponents there. 1 win, 1 loss. What do you guys predict for, I guess, long term?
I think the Eagles are going to win the division. I think they're going to make a run at the NFC Championship game. I'm more bullish on where this team is. I think what we've seen with the defense, the secondary looks good with DeJean and Quinion Mitchell is what they're missing. As soon as Avonte Maddox just gets out of the rotation, like this, the secondary is going to be fine, and Darius Slay comes back, that's fine. I think the offense, to your point with Kellen Moore, I think they're just scratching the surface. So I'm pretty bullish. Now the injury's got to, you need you need AJ Brown back, and you need Jalen Hurts to not turn the ball over like he's been doing on this winning streak. But I'm more bullish on where the Eagles are at this term than probably anybody else nationally based on what just transpired in that Jags game to close.
Yeah, I'm seeing day-to-day for AJ Brown, so I think he'll probably play this week. And it was crazy that Kellen Moore, didn't do anything with the Chargers, but Chargers just might not have been ready for him. But you guys were in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and if I look at the roster, it's like I feel like Eagles are on par with the Chiefs right now. It's just can they stay healthy, and then the Chiefs, I don't know. It's just the Mahomes factor. It's got to be right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, talent-wise, they're there, but
No.
with how scary it is that the Lions can score 50 points and throw for 80 yards 2 weeks ago, or come out and play in the rain and drop 24 on Green Bay, make it look easy. I'm a little bit more hesitant than Brad to say, I'm bullish on this team, but I think that they're better than they thought they were 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now, guys, we can't talk about the division without talking about the Commanders. Really good football team, overachieving a lot earlier than we probably thought. Dan Quinn, probably a big part of that. Like I mentioned earlier, taking a slew of Cowboys with them, coaches and players alike. Leading the division right now. You guys we're gonna have to clash with them eventually. It's gonna be y'all two for the battle of the NFC East.
I think so too. I like Dan Quinn a lot as a head coach. I think he got a bad rap in Atlanta. But how many times have we seen the Cliff Kingsbury story? When it looks great early, and then people figure this out. Now he's got a different QB. Jaden Daniels looks special. But a lot of people were saying about Kyler Murray too. But I don't know. Maybe it's a house of cards. Tyson knows that's my favorite phrase to use about things that are mirage. I'm curious your guys' thoughts though. But how many times do we get bought into Cliff Kingsbury's offenses and all of a sudden it just runs into a wall?
Yeah, I mean, I'm known to get overhyped with the rookies, man. Like, look, we saw this with RG3, kind of similar body build, and Jaden Daniels' main concern coming out of college was the injury health because the guy's coming out as a Heisman, so that means he has some skill, and he's already showing that he can do it. He's getting it done in the air and on the ground, so he really is embodying kind of that next generation of the running quarterback. He could be better than Lamar, to be honest. And Lamar's an MVP conversation, and I've heard Jaden Daniels name an MVP conversation. So for this season, he's locked in. Long term for him, we'll have to see. But right now, it's hard to beat the squad, and like they don't even have a wide receiver too that I feel great about. That's the crazy part.
Yeah,
it's like
scary.
just Terry McLaurin and some running backs that are okay. So I don't really see them as a major threat for like the league, right? And I think the Eagles could actually beat them. It's just you got a better offense in theory, like better weapons, but this guy's just such a threat. He's kind of hard to guard.
I have kind of a theory about some of these rookie quarterbacks that come in and get the job right away. They have success. Even some quarterbacks, maybe Jalen Hurts was a second-year guy, right? So, like, some of these quarterbacks come in and they're game planned so well by the coaching staff, in my opinion, that the opponent doesn't really know what to expect. They don't really know what the game's going to look like with a new quarterback who's being given the keys. With a lot of these guys who end up earning the job over a long period of time, they've got some tape on them already, and kind of you understand where their big strengths are. But when you have these young Spitfire quarterbacks, it's happened. Obviously, everyone says, having the quarterback on a rookie deal is the best way you can build your team. I think part of that went uncovered by maybe some of the media was that, like, it's very difficult to game plan for a quarterback you've seen very little relative film on, especially seeing successful film on, like as far as a defense figuring something out. And then once somebody gets figured out, they can make adjustments and things kind of go back and forth in this league. That's why I said earlier, like, you have to have an innovative offense and a adaptive defense, and like when you can put those two together with a fresh roster that is not, this Commanders team is obviously vastly different than it was last year. And so I just kind of wonder, is it going to take a step back? Has CJ Stroud taken a step back? Some of these quarterbacks, like, we see them have great breakouts and then they kind of get figured out. What do you guys think? I guess open to everyone about the trajectory of how he's going to develop. Is he going to be the next, guy who puts up 4, 5, 6 NFC East titles, or is he going to come back to earth a little bit?
Well, putting up 6 NFC East titles would be crazy. Anyways, I think you need. I don't even know if Tom Brady gets
Maybe
6
somewhere in
out
the
of
middle.
this-
Maybe
this
not.
division.
It's one or the other.
He would have
no,
to skip a couple years, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't
yeah.
win 2 times in a row.
As long as he plays 12
Exactly.
seasons, he can get it done. But one of the things that I'm an LSU guy, so I saw him quite a bit. But one of the things that slept on a little bit, I think, with JD5 is like the playtime at Arizona State and getting to be exposed to play against different styles of defense and a different style of offense. And then he jumps over to LSU and we see him start layering throws. We've seen what Neighbors has done since he's came into the league, right? And he's been a superstar. But Brian Thomas Jr., it was like, is he going to be Terrace Marshall or can he play for real? And we've seen he's really good too. And then it makes you kind of think, you put the whole picture together there. I think Jaden Daniels had a lot to do with their success, but I also think that he doesn't get necessarily the credit he deserves in the way that the offense looked a year ago. And the swag is different, fellas. I mean, he just looks different than some of these other guys out there.
Yeah, the guy looks nasty, man. So, and I was glad that he got to do the head-to-head matchup against Caleb Williams, and looks like he won. He's looking like Rookie of the Year right now. So,
I do recall an old Washington rookie quarterback that won Rookie of the Year, great runner, a local Texas guy, went to Baylor. You guys know who I'm talking about. He got hurt. He got overused, abused in that system, and he was never the same after that big playoff run.
yeah, they're gonna try to protect him, man. And they let him go out there even with that rib injury, but they're gonna protect him for the most part. I think they have to be hammering in his head, like slide, don't like scramble until you get killed.
We saw him get hurt once,
but he had a 12-second scramble for that Hail Mary. Like he's using those legs to stay alive. So you do have to watch out for that because if he gets blindsided, you get screwed.
We've got a panel of folks here that have experienced a quarterback that is maybe mobile or more than mobile, that has had an injury problems that has made them maybe less effective doing that. So that's also part of having a young quarterback. Dak Prescott obviously had this really bad ankle injury. Jalen Hurts has had, I don't remember exactly what, I think hip problems. He's had a few things here and there that he's played through a lot of it. And I think you can kind of see sometimes when he's playing through stuff, which is great for him. But I think he's, maybe the tush push also taking a slight step back on being the best play in the game. These things have a way of solving themselves, unless you're a Pat Mahomes, or Lamar Jackson, who's been incredible for a long period of time. So I don't know. I think we need to give obviously another year. It's 1 year. It's half a year's worth of games so far for him. Obviously he's got immense talent, a great coaching staff, but like you brought up earlier, talking about how Dan Quinn, they can take a step back. These teams, and we saw it, man. That Packers game still haunts us with how bad that defense looked. And they had Micah Parsons out there. They had some of Jerome Bland, one of the best cornerback seasons of all time. It's just we'll see how that plays out. But today, gentlemen, we are here to talk Cowboys Eagles, one of the funnest rivalries in the entire game. Let's dive into that a little bit. How this matchup going to go this weekend?
Well, I'm looking here. Eagles seem like they always get killed over in Jerry World. 6.5. I don't know if that's that's a number right now. We'll see. Kind of is
you
Cooper
see that
Rush
0-3 number
this Eagles
at home?
defense. But you guys were undefeated last year, though. I don't know. Is it variance? Is it coming back? Who knows? But I mean, it's hard for me to think the Eagles don't win. That's true. That is true. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard for me to think the Eagles don't win this game. I mean, they have momentum. I know some analytics guys don't think that's a real thing, but it feels like they're confident. And even though they kind of fell apart late against Jacksonville, it feels like this team likes each other, and that's what was missing last year. So I think they're going to be locked in, and they can make a statement here in the division. I think the Eagles win this game.
And on the rivalry, I mean, yes, you guys have been 0-3 at home, and it's been brutal so far. But the home team is 9-1 in the last 10 of these. But on the flip side, since 2021, the team the team that's favored on the spread has won and covered in the last 7 games. So that puts those things kind of at odds a little bit. Philly's ground game right now, number 2 in the league, averaging about 175 yards per game. We know Dallas's rush defense hasn't been very good. They're giving up like 150 almost. struggled at home, all of that stuff, and you guys seem a little doom and gloom right now. This is setting up for Cooper Rush and Jalen Palmer to score 40 points.
Snap!
Yeah, it does feel that way. I mean, we're Negadelphians over here, but folks.
How many of those stats include a backup quarterback?
That's fair. I mean, 2022 had Gardner against you guys in Jerry World. And
yeah, that was the Christmas game, right? Or Christmas week or something like that.
And when did Ben DiNucci get it? That was within the last 5 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Cooper Rush, he had a 4-game win streak.
Mm-hmm.
He held his own.
I was going to say, I thought there were some Cowboys fans saying they wanted Cooper over Dak.
There was a little bit of talk for a minute.
Yeah,
and we got our secret weapon. Y'all better get scared. Trey Lance. We might unleash him on y'all.
Oh, baby.
I would love it. I would love it.
He's going to be active, baby. He has to be active.
I got the Montana hat on. I live in Montana. I saw not a ton, but I saw Trey Lance play all 9 games or whatever it was at North Dakota State. And I want this dude to be good so bad as long as it's not week 10.
Yeah.
How about week 16 or whatever when they play next?
That sounds good to me.
He might be playing then.
Yeah. What would you guys do? Would you just see what Trey has and then collect the higher draft pick if he doesn't have it, or do you want to trot out quote unquote, I can say old reliable, but he's not really, with Cooper Rush?
I think you have a number 2 for a reason, and you label him a number 2, so he's going to start. But if the game gets out of hand, which it might, you're going to see Trey.
Yeah.
And then a couple games down the line, maybe after we beat the Giants on Thanksgiving for our last W, then you'll see Trey for the rest of the season.
Yeah, because if Micah does come back, he's going to want to play with a real quarterback. It's not going to be for nothing. He's in a contract year. We're not trying to have all that. And for us, I mean, we've got so many players that are not producing. Like we had this, like Mozzie Smith as an example, guys that just aren't getting it done. So we need all the help we can get. We're desperate for DeMarcus Lawrence to come back, and we're desperate for
Now Jerry says he's got something in the mill for trade deadline time, and then the reporter mentioned that, hey, what about the Amari Cooper trade a couple of years ago where we started 3-4, we got Amari Cooper, and we won a playoff game eventually. That's not happening this year, though. Jerry confirmed.
No, and I want to say that our draft capital is about to be premium. Like I do not want to be trading picks when we're headed to a top 6, 7, 8, 10 pick, in my opinion.
Preach it, Dave.
So I just think, okay, here's what I want to do. I want to play Trey Lance, maybe not start him, but start figuring out your package for Trey Lance this week. Put him out there for 2, 3, 4 series max, just to kind of see how things go. Maybe run him, maybe put him out there with Cooper Rush out there. I don't know, try something creative, Mike McCarthy. So that's what I want to see. Now, I think they're going to try to win with their best guys. So we're not really going to see much of that this week. But in my opinion, I think they're probably going to lose. And I think at that point, you have to move pieces around. So we've got a guy, Awesome Richards, who's not very awesome, but he is a young tackle. And I think we need to put him on the field, maybe even as a guard, because I want to move our left guard, Tyler Smith, to left tackle because Guyton is having a bad year. Put Guyton at right tackle where he played in college. Let him play right tackle. So you got Tyler Smith, our best lineman, put him at left, bring in our backup tackle to play guard, at left guard. And then, maybe you find something good there. Maybe you find something good for the future. And then with the defense, we've got Kalen Carson is wearing number 21. He doesn't look like a number 21 out there. We want to see what he does. We have Wanye Thomas as a young safety. We want to see what he does. We want to see Okwamu. We want to see what he does at safety. So we actually have a bunch of players that are on rookie deals that would still be under control next year. And I think it's very also I want to promote one of our coaches. If you want to keep one of these coaches, let McCarthy go after a week or two here and promote that guy to a head coach or assistant head coach, maybe an Al Harris. Definitely not our offensive line coach because they've been really bad. But, we've got people in there that we need to test them out. We need to see what they're doing. But I guess we have to get through this game. Maybe some way Cooper Rush has some magic. He has had good games in the past, but at those times he had a much better supporting cast. So I'm not very optimistic, but there is questions to be answered. And there's a back half of the season that can give us a lot of value on who are these guys? Are they good? Are they worth keeping?
Exactly. Dave, I totally agree, because the reason we're not tanking is because we have over 8 games where we need to know what are we working with going into 2025. Like, this is our chance to gather our data on what do we even have to work with. What is the foundation of the team? Like, yeah, we think we know this, the guys that are getting paid, but there's a lot of guys who haven't gotten on the field or we haven't seen because of injury. We're going to have some important decisions to make. So we're going to try to put out a good product, whether it's just to get a look at them next year to know who we're keeping or cutting, or just to actually try to win and make a comeback. Because, hey, if we do pile together some wins, then yeah, we'll go for it. But at a minimum, we need to know what we've got. And people have been in and out of the lineup, and it's so hard to see. And so we get some more looks at them.
Yep. And before we punt to the Eagles guys for the first time this week, I just want to mention that I did listen to Micah Parsons' podcast, The Edge, this morning, and he was actually mirroring what you were saying, Alex. He's like, we're playing a bunch of these young guys. Either way, they're getting real game time experience that's going to help them. Even if it's not this year, it's going to help us next year. And he followed up with saying like, we're going to try. We're going to keep trying. We're not going to give up. We're professional players. We're going to keep trying to win. I mean, at the end of the day, we're probably going to lose games, but we're with a couple that we're probably going to be predicted to lose. And you guys know how divisional rival games gets. Cowboys could win a crazy one with our backup quarterback. It's like a 10% chance. Yeah.
We're talking to some guys who won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys know. You guys got a freaking statue.
Yeah. Build a statue for anything.
I got to admit,
hey,
though.
He's from Austin Westlake. So you're welcome.
Yeah, seriously, your guys' neck of the woods.
For you guys.
So before we kind of dive a little bit more, I do want to ask you guys a question now. And this is at the risk of the Eagles guys getting thrown off the Cowboys podcast the first time we all meet.
Shit.
Take your hand off the button.
I was telling all my Giants friends, Saquon Barkley's going to be an Eagle. Is it going to happen again with another Penn State guy going divisional?
No.
Is it going to happen? What do you think?
That would never happen. That would
No?
never happen.
Okay.
AFC would be his destination. Hopefully the Ravens, because that's my team over there.
Okay.
We're going to pay him, man. We haven't paid anyone else. Like, why are we not paying anybody if we're not going to pay Parsons?
Yeah.
No, everyone.
Just the top tier stars.
Yeah, just the top guys.
Jerry pays the superstars. Jerry overpays the superstars. Parsons is going to stay because he sells tickets and jerseys. I don't think he thinks up for a debate there, but there are a lot of guys that we might lose next year. It's going to look a lot different.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to get your read on that because I know that's been some underground NFL talk is could Parsons be out of town? But all right, you guys are confident. It's good to know. Tyson, what do you think about this weekend? Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Well, let's stay on that because I did have that little teaser. We do have a few guys on rookie contracts. As Eagles, let's just say the division doesn't matter as far as the rivalry goes. So we've got guys like Osa Odigizua. He's a defensive tackle. He's in his last year of his rookie deal. He's probably a slightly above average 3 technique, maybe 1 tech. You could play him either place. We've got Deron Bland. Obviously had a great season. He's on a rookie deal as well. We got Micah Parsons, and we got Brandon Aubrey. So there's 4 guys there. Those are probably our best, most viable candidates to trade. Would the Eagles welcome or want any of these guys for their playoff run this year, if that's going to come to pass?
Shoot, take all of them. I take them all. 3 tech, 1 tech, nose tackles in general are just so hard to come across in the NFL. And so if you can get an above average one, I think that, Philly or not, that they're probably fielding phone calls right now about that. There are some good teams out there. Bland is an interesting one because it seems like every pick 6 that he had a year ago, some hater on Twitter was posting like him being burned or him looking somewhere else. And then, I'm not watching the all 22 of the Cowboys. It's just TV copy stuff. So I'm on my dumb brain and I'm like, yeah, look, he's getting cooked. Oh, he's just scored a touchdown. So he's tough there. And then Micah, you guys said it. Brad's living on the wrong side of Twitter here, I think. I don't think he's going anywhere outside of Dallas. And then Brandon Aubrey's got the best leg in the league. It'd be hard. I don't know. That's just you throw a 7-year contract out.
Besides Micah.
Yeah, maybe. But he's going to be a Cowboy for a long time, I think.
I think out of those 4, Bland would probably be the one, just because the Eagles secondary has been, hit or miss, and they have a hard time turning the ball over, at least past couple of years. So at least he gives you some juice there. But, I don't know. That'd be interesting. And you guys know, I mean, it's just all hypothetical, but that would be interesting to Jerry ship somebody over to help the Eagles. Hey, I love me some good kickers, that's for sure.
I mean, he's kicking from our side of the field and shit. So it's
crazy. Yeah, he's unbelievable.
You want a logo kicker? Yeah.
So you want to get into some what should we do? The bold predictions first or score predictions?
Let's see. Bold predictions. We'll end with score predictions. I think we all know we're on the same page there. So let's do something else exciting.
All right. Yeah, bold prediction. Micah Parsons plays. He's healthy. And that's not the bold part, but then fumbles 6 on Hurts. Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay.
all right. Well, we want to trade, go back and forth. I don't put you guys on the spot,
Sure.
bros, but y'all have any bold predictions?
I'll take it. I think Quinyon Mitchell gets his first NFL interception this week. I don't know if that one counts, but he's been awful close for a while. Maybe Cooper Rush is getting the ball.
Bold prediction against a backup quarterback?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it counts. But that one's easy. The other one that I would say, too, is I think that Jordan Davis gets off the milk carton this week. He's been, I think he played like 7 snaps last week or 11 snaps, something like that. Wow. I think that if this game can at some point be considered safe, then maybe he gets a little bit more run and can find his way in that backfield.
All right, Dave, what you got?
All right, so I'm thinking I have 2 to kind of go between. I'm going to go with my guy Turpin. I think Turpin finally puts one in the end zone. He's been very close, and it just hasn't come together. Again, the margin of error is so slim. He had a great, well-blocked punt return or kick return last week. I can't remember exactly which, but he got out to the sideline and was all gone for 6 and kind of didn't have his balance and got out of bounds. I think he puts it together. We have a special teams return touchdown for Turpin next week.
Ooh, man. Okay.
All right, what you got for us, Brad?
So Dallas Goedert's been, a pretty big factor in this game, and he's not here. So I'm going to go Grant Calcaterra touchdown. It's been getting more run from Jalen Hurts.
Okay, the backup tight end.
That's a deep track, brother.
He's getting in the end zone.
Pick him up in fantasy.
Yeah, I've got him in our Dynasty League. I hope he comes through for me.
Tune into Dynasty FK for more information on that.
All right, Joe, what you got for us?
I think my bold prediction this week is the fact that the Cowboys will make it a 1-score game. Like we've seemingly done all season except for the Saints game. I feel like.
Yeah, and you heard that stat Tyson drop. He said all these matchups are within a score, right? So.
And I was looking at the Eagles stats. You guys have only won 2 games by double digits. So being a division rival game,
it's a division
Mike
game.
is coming back with some passion, a little bit of energy. We'll see what happens. But that would be my bold take. Yeah.
All right.
Sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, we're trying to talk ourselves into it, but it's gonna be hard to watch this one. Let's just keep it close by halftime. Okay, so let's get some score predictions.
Let's toss it over to the Eagles guys first.
Yeah, we've got ours written down, but what y'all got for us?
I'll start because I actually kind of tend to agree with Joe that this is going to be a little bit closer, maybe a little bit more nervy than you would want as an Eagles fan. The spread that opens at 6.5. I'm curious to see where it closes. Dallas sometimes can take some pretty weird money on the money line, especially like day of. I don't know what that's all about, what days you guys get paid over there in Texas or what. But I do think that 6.5 number is interesting because it totally could be a backdoor 31-25. It's 31-17. Dallas scores, gets a 2-point conversion, something like that. So I'll give that out as the official. We'll go 31-25. And I didn't mention this, but the overs have hit like 70% of the time in the last 10 years in this matchup.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right.
Well, that makes me adjustable. I'm going to go 28-24 Eagles. It keeps it close. There's going to be some weird stuff going on in this one, but I think the Eagles win.
All right. Let me just jump in here. 30-13. Not feeling as optimistic. But if CD's playing, I think he'll at least get one of those touchdowns. Maybe it's doubtful. We'll see. But.
Yeah, no, I did give my hot take / bold prediction, and that was the Cowboys will keep it close. but my actual, for the record, is 34-16.
Okay.
Eagles.
All right, looks like my computer's about to die too, so let's get this in. Mine's going to be I'm going 31-20. I think I wanted to go less points for the Cowboys, but I do feel there's going to be a little bit of that rivalry juice. And some of these guys have played in many of these rivalry games. You got CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs. These guys have been around the block on this, and I think they're going to keep it close. But 31-20 is my prediction. Eagles. It's gross.
All right. All right.
All off season, we're hoping for football, man. We're back. All right, I'm not giving up right now, like I said. So we're gonna keep grinding, finding out what talent we got to work with. But yeah, I think they'll at least try to keep it competitive. I hope I'm wrong that it's a close game. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Any other prediction? I mean, since we don't really have you guys on here normally, I'm just curious. What do you guys think? Who's gonna win the Super Bowl? What's the matchup gonna be?
Oh man, that's tough because Kansas City's playing right now, and everybody knows if you're watching.
What's the score?
What's that score?
0-0.
Okay. Yeah, he's got it right behind him.
Still time for score predictions on this one.
But I'm going with Detroit to play Baltimore. I think that John Harbaugh remembers that he's allowed
That's
to run
exactly
the
what I
football
said
in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden, I mean, I'm thinking that Mike McCarthy slamming that tablet might have been them showing him another Derrick Henry touchdown, maybe, and he threw that thing at the ground. Had to get out of here with the shot. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Oh.
That tablet spike was, I mean, it's
we should have got Henry. It's
time to break this.
The best spike we've made all season. All the other touchdowns have been like, well, we're still losing. It's it's trash time.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I'm gonna go with the Lions. My prediction.
There it is.
I think that's what I'm leaning towards right now.
I'm dead in smart. 3 minutes.
Maybe we'll see you guys at the end of the year.
Let's do another
Cowboys
one.
Eagles play again on 12/29. So it'd be nice to do a little one of these and see where we're at by then.
A little Christmas wish list episode too. So yeah, thanks for having us on here, fellas. And it was a good time. It was unfortunate with the injuries that have kind of happened, taking some of the wind out of the sails of this matchup. But we'll be here week 16 and off season, all that stuff. I mean, if you guys want to get into draft stuff or the dynasty stuff too, we're here for it.
Yeah, let us
absolutely.
Also, hook 'em horns.
Thanks for having us, boys. Hey, let's go, Austin, baby.
All right. Well, hey, this has been Cowboys and Eagles Uncovered crossover. We got that Week 10 matchup we're looking forward to, and enjoy the game tonight, everybody who's out there watching. We're gonna end it with this Barkley highlight one more time because it was so nice. You got to see it twice, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Has time. Now locates Barkley out of the backfield. Barkley slips 2 tackles and picks up the first down, jumping up in the air to the 30.
Out of moves right here makes the first guy miss. The spin move at the last second, and then what? Tiki, you're right. What is that,
bro?
Joel, write it.